Hey guys, it's been a really busy / productive morning, and I thought I'd take a back seat to check out the view out of that super scenic deluxe windshield. I say deluxe because we laid it back 2 inches. Yeah, I have to say it's looking really good. Here, check it out. So as you can see, the view is really good from back here. Lean over, check out the speedometer. Yeah, it's looking really good. Welcome back to Envision Prototypes. If you're new to our channel, I'm Nick. And today we're going to be working on our 1956 Chrysler Windsor no side. I do apologize if the audio sounds a little bit tinny. No sound deadening yet. As a matter of fact, we haven't done much on the body shell at all. You can see, I can stick my hand right through the side of the car, big gaping holes here in the roof, and there's a reason for that. Now if anybody's lifted a set of seats up like this 20 to 30 times a day, it gets a little bit monotonous and a little bit tiring. By the time you design the brackets, fabricate them, locate them, mount them, drill them, all that stuff, you're lifting these seats in and out all the time. So we decided to leave full access to the side of the car so we can just sneak them in really easy. Otherwise, you got to take them all the way around this doorpost area, get them located, slide them in. It's a real drag. We can now go ahead and take them out. This one's bolted down. These back ones, I still need to weld in the support structure under the seat at the back. They basically slide in, 2 bolts at the front, tie them down. I can't do it with the seats in, I don't want to burn them. That front passenger seat flips ahead so that we can actually get in from the passenger side into the back seating area. This front seat is set all the way back. It's further back than I would even sit at, so it's a little bit snug back here. That's why I got my foot sticking out through the side of the car. Normally you'd have them in front of you, haha. Let me jump down, I'll take you around, show you the bracketry, and then we can go ahead and pull these seats out for the 31st time each. Holy smokes, that is a long way down. I didn't think of the getting out part when I climbed in the car. Getting in was easy. Let's see what happens. Well, as you can see guys, I'm out and survived. And frankly, it wasn't that bad. Stepped onto that box tubing, onto the crate, onto the floor, down. And as for the seats, we can take them out. We have a little more work to do on them, but we can do that out of the car. A couple more little gussets to create for the back mount, clean up the mounts, and we're all set. They've been drilled. We have studs coming up through the floor, through the substructure that we created in the floor or under the floor. Now for the back seats, we have a slip slide system developed where we have a rail across the back with pockets right there, brackets that slide into those pockets. So essentially you take the seat, bring it in, drop it in, slide it in, drop it down over the studs of the front, do up the bolts, finished. There's a cover that goes over this mechanism, identical to the one at the front. We took it off because we need to do that welding in there and didn't want to melt the cover. These seats are really amazing. They're heated, power everything, and they inflate to give you that really cushiony feel, similar to what the cars had in the 50s. On this side, we've got a passenger seat, as I mentioned earlier, that flips forward so you can get into the back seats, plural seats. Front driver's seat is going to stay stationary, so you essentially get in from the passenger side. And there will be lots of room because there's a post right over here, and by the time this flips ahead, you can get in quite easily. Now we've got 2 hinges at the front, a set of latches at the back. Things are still in the prototyping stage. Everything needs to be cleaned up, refined, just all that stuff. And that's what takes the time. I think I can flip it ahead and show you what's going on. You can see we've tested it. The other red wires somewhere up underneath. Oh, come on, where'd it go? Oh, way over there. There we go. So we had the seat moving forward and back to make sure that the range of motion worked. Should move my helmet. So you trigger the latch, push the seat ahead. It'll stay up. And you jump out or jump in, and when you drop the seat back down, it latches. So this seat will not spring forward with that cylinder when you unlatch it. You have to push the seat ahead. That's pretty much it. So we're going to get these seats out of the car and get these posts installed. these B-pillars, get the webs installed, weld these rockers in, and then I think we'll get up into the sail panels or the dash. Not sure yet which. Let's focus on getting these B-pillars installed, the jambs installed in this video. Then we'll move on to other stuff next time. Yeah, this front fender, we've stripped the paint off. This one is in primo condition. No dings, no dents. Really, really nice. Driver's side fender, whole different story. It's really been hammered. Somebody did a lot of pick hammer work through here, drove it down. There's a whole bunch of just damage in that area. Big patch down below, and there's a big dent in through here that has to be worked out. The first 3 feet aren't too bad. After that, it just goes to heck in a handbasket. Lost about 25 pounds in filler on this fender alone. So we have a bit of work ahead of us with that. There's a Poly 331. Really cool engine. This is the generator. You got the power steering pump that runs off the back of the generator. You can see we've got the front spindle assembly apart. We're working on adapting disc brakes to the front of this car. At the back there, we've got the 8.8 out of a Ford that we've installed with disc brakes. So, like I mentioned, disc brakes all around. And back at the front here, we'll have to install a new booster, master cylinder, clean all that up because we're not running with the bellows system and a single master cylinder reservoir. At a time and place back in the 50s, early 60s, but with the new technology that we have and can use and employ into a hot rod, let's do that. Let me get these seats out one last time, get them onto the bench so we can work on them out of the car, and then we can start filling in the blanks. Yeah, we might even get that back section back up. See, everything comes apart, goes together, comes apart many, many times. We have a whole lot of welding to do. There's what, from there down, 4.5 feet, 5 feet, 10 feet of welding, plus the area up above there, so that's another 3, that's 16 feet. Sail panels, we've got 3 miles of welding to do. I don't know if I'll include that in the video or not. Unless we do like hyperlapse speed 16, maybe, we'll see. Without the buckets, look at all the space we have in here. Almost makes me want to go back to using a milk crate for a driver's seat. Not. Now I'm really dating myself. All right, guys, went ahead, plug welded the tops of the rockers in place. This series along the bottom, these holes, that'll be done once we elevate the table a bit. Makes it a little bit, I can't believe it. First skeeter of the year. It's like 15 degrees outside. No mosquitoes were harmed in this episode. I missed. He'll probably thank me later by biting me. Here we have the driver's side door jamb post deal. And we're going to get a screw in place, or 2 screws. There are a couple holes here at the front. Okay, that's one. That's 2. It's not bad. A little bit of wobble there. Close this door. Looks like it's leaning back a little bit. Yeah, about 1/2 inch. That's not good. But if we close it like that, we can see that the gap at the bottom is spot on. In a previous episode, we did create these structural webs here, the 2 sections, but we didn't make any holes in them. If I can find it, here it is. This is the top piece. This goes up against the wheelhouse. That rolls up. That'll pick up the top of the roof there. and this ties into the post. So technically, if we install this, this should align us to where we need to be. However, before I do that, because we are running with power windows here, I'm going to take and chop this hole out, but not before creating a little detail. And whenever I design something, I want things to look factory, as if the factory intended it to be there. It's really easy to change things around to make things look different, but to make it look as if it came from the factory that way, that's where the challenge lies. So we're going to look at this door and see what kind of patterns the door has, and then we can mimic those patterns on this web so it doesn't look like a simple piece of sheet metal bent up and stuck in place. Yeah, once the upholstery's on, all that stuff, you'll never see it, but the fact is we're going to see it at this point in time. Now this is an indentation here for the window tracks. This is an access hole for the latch. This is a strengthening depression there. Now here, this is where the power window motor was. And looking at this little offset in the panel, we're going to take and replicate this pattern into the back web. Into here. So we're going to need to have this little step go inward, and then we'll cut the hole out to look kind of like that. Not that shape of hole, but that shape of hole. And I've already marked it on the wrong side, but that's okay, because the way I set up my tipping wheel, I can create this pattern from the outside, and it'll have a step inward when you look at it from the inside. Let's go over to the tipping wheel and see what kind of damage we can create. I'm gonna move this out of the way. We'll get onto this fender later. That'll probably be a whole episode. Now, depending on which side this lower wheel is in relation to the upper wheel will determine whether we're an innie or an outie. And putting it here, I'd have to move that out. That's going to create the wrong way for us. We need to go this way. Have the upper wheel slide down past. And that will create there, that's all you need. That will create our little offset bead around the perimeter of that hole. But we're not going to cut the hole yet, we're going to do that afterwards, once our bead is created, because it helps us control the material. Let's back this off. Again, this is the outside of the panel, this is the inside, so we need to have this come up, which means that our wheel goes on the inside of this area. Just like that. And we're going to start just ahead of that little radius there. This should be good. Let's start pushing. Hopefully you guys can see that. You see how this inner area is a little bit higher than the outside area. That's what we're after. Then we'll move in whatever distance, strike a line, and cut the center out. The upper wheel helps along or around corners for control. Otherwise, I'm just pushing the panel. Now, we might run into a little glitch. Barely got by the skin of our teeth. I'd get you guys in front of me, but it's going to make it very difficult to push. So hopefully you can see just enough from back there. Just enough. Now, first time around is always, oh, this is a curve, is always more tricky because we're breaking a path. Uh-oh. I really need to clean up again. Usually that's on a weekend, but this is when we're working on this project. All right, just gonna tighten up the end of the little wheels a little more. Give it a sharper, more crisp edge, more defined edge. And go around the corner. Ah. So there is a little bit of flex in this C-frame. As I'm wheeling it, especially with 18, especially with 16, this wheel or this frame kind of moves around, but it doesn't affect the quality of the work. Now, I didn't pre-stretch this, not necessary for this little bit of an offset. Come on. And that's going to be, that's going to be it. Aha. So, stay. Good. Check it out. See the center raised up there? Quite nice. Now, we've got the upper panel and we have a lower panel. Everything's been punched, ready to go. I was looking at this and it looks like there's something missing. I'm going to extend this upper beadwork down into here, but we're just not going to cut the hole. Let's do that. It's too fine. And technically it's a straight line. You can run a straight line. I need to create some corners. Just find something that works. You can use a grinder disc. You can use your hand and estimate it or guesstimate it. We're not going crazy with beadwork. You can if you want, depending what you know, the final look you're after. Sometimes less is more. At least as I've been told by you guys. I think we're working on the front fascia of the 51 Ford, and I was trying to determine if we're going to run a fog light or a set of fog lights, a pair of fog lights up front. You guys saying, Nick, less is more. Let's not. Thank you. We do listen to your suggestions. Okay, that's the bottom. So quite nice. We have a little indentation into the pocket of the quarter panel. That's what it looks like from the other side, and we're gonna leave it just like that. Okay, so now we can get this in place, get some screws into it. Oh no, I welded up one of my holes. Oh well, that's okay. That. Clecos are fine, but so are self-drilling, self-tapping screws. Unless you're building an airplane. That's smarts. Okay, that's good there. Make a little adjustment there. And this upper one, it slides in there like so. I need more screws. That'll work. Oh, I messed up. Do you see what I messed up on? Jackpot. Got to make sure that everything's fitting in. Obviously you have to do a little bit of trimming on this part here. Got to make sure that we tie into all this structural stuff in here. You can't just hope that that is going to be sufficient. You know, this has to all tie in. This has to get pinched down. That's looking good there. If we need to do anything with the strike, you can get in through this hole. Which reminds me, we got to make a hole, guys. That's looking good. Okay, let's make a hole. We call that a lacquer eraser. So now that we have a little outline going on, we can make some holes. All we're going to do is cut the corner. Normally we don't cut corners, but in this case I'll make an exception. And we don't have to cut the whole hole out. So there's our hole. I'm going to clean up this edge a little bit here. This hole will make it easier for us to clamp it in place. It's looking quite good. I have to check the strike, make sure it engages properly with the latch. Get a couple screws in there. One's enough. Hear the difference in sound already? It's only a couple of screws. It's kind of not right. We're bumping in here at the top of the door. That's not allowing the door to close properly. So let's get you in one hand. And just like that. That's good. Cut it out. You guys get that? Can we unlock it? Uh-oh. Oh, had me worried there for a second. Let's try once more. It's not bad. We're bumping at the top. See, this door is twisting. Got a little bit of a gap problem at the bottom. We'll have to address that later. But right now, I want to make sure that we're close, you know. 1/8 of an inch I can work with. 1/2 an inch, uh-oh. Why are we binding? Oh. Brought the door down a little bit, okay? That twist. Because right now it's sprung up and it's jamming on the latch. So I do that, and look at that, boom. All right, people. Excuse me. Oh, that just fell into place. Let's go in from the inside. Look at you guys in the car. See that? It's fitting up really well, all the way to the top. We're gonna have to pull this down nice and tight, work that corner in before any of the structure goes in, finalize this. That's gonna be a job in itself to get the inner and outer structure for the roof. See, we can't move this car as much as I want to throw some wheels on it and roll it outside and take a look at it. Well, we got the fins to put on, a Fender. Leave that for next time. Gotta make some decisions because the width here and the width there, two different widths. This is on a bit of a taper. I'm gonna have the bottom run parallel with the rocker, 2 3/4, 2 3, just under 3/4. Yeah, right there. Two and right there. Good. You have a nice consistent gap there. I'm going to take this apart and slide it back 1/8 of an inch. So as you can see, we have a kind of a consistent gap all the way around that panel. And the fastest, easiest way is to pull those 3 screws, 4 screws up there, slide this whole thing back, which will bring us flush with this, which is what I intended originally. The bottom one, we'll have to trim that up, no problem. And that'll bring it in nice and tight. And these will still align up and down nicely. All right guys, there we go. Inner web installed. This is all pulled in nice and tight. A little bit more at the top there has to be adjusted. We have to take care of this before the quarter panel goes on, or this fin goes on. So that's why I'm pushing to get this done, get the other side done. We'll wipe it off, throw some primer on there, and then we can go ahead and do the sides. But as I was assembling, I noticed that I forgot something. It's not really that important, I guess. We have to punch some holes in this 18 gauge, this web here, so we can plug weld it to the door jamb. Not a big deal. I'm not taking all that apart. I'm just going to take this post out. It should be easy. Come on. One more. See? Now we can get our little punchy punch and take care of that. Whatever extends out past, we'll just trim it up and that'll be it. Yes, that'll be it. And the other thing I have to do is pop this one off, just a couple screws there and there, leave that in place, throw some primer on the back side of the top one, inside of this one, and then re-screw, the flange here. So everything's got a coat of weld-through primer, and we can reassemble it. I wanted to fit everything in place, make sure it all worked. I should go to do the other side. I'll do that when this primer is drying. Then I'll bring you guys in when we start welding this together and assembling it for the final time. Meanwhile, let's see how that looks and how it works. Very good. All right, I'm going to reassemble the other side, do the same thing, punch the holes, get it all basically caught up to this, to what this side looks like, and then we start welding and welding and welding. Weld up all the plug holes I should say, get that down to the rocker nice and tight, weld that. And that should be it. Yes, yes, yes. And then we can go ahead and get this rear fin back on. Come on. Are we locked again? Yeah, there we go. So it was just the way it moved on the screws a little bit, not a big deal, because when we get the quarter in, that's going to stop this from moving around. Give it a tweak like that. Right there. Okay. That's all it needed. It's almost like looking through a window of another window into the soul of the 56 Chrysler. That's too deep. Let's lighten things up. There you go, guys. We've got the inner webs installed, B-pillars located and fixed to the webs, structural webs, in preparation for the rear tail fins on this Chrysler. This is where things are going to start shaping up. Right now, it's just, mundane stuff, getting the basics done. And next coming episode, or 2 or 3, you're going to start seeing this car come together rather quickly. I'm sure a lot of you guys are excited. Let's see if we can close this door. Let's see how it looks. Wow, that just, the latch is sticking. I need to lubricate that. It's kind of gummy. Once I free that up, it'll operate a lot smoother. But there you go, the new proportions of the longer door, shorter quarter panel area, and well, nothing on the back end yet, but stay tuned, that's coming. Let's take a look inside. Yeah, I gotta get that latch freed up so it operates properly. There you go. That's what it looks like from the interior. We've got those details that we created around those holes, around those openings, access openings for the window mechanisms that resemble this profile here. So it kind of ties one into the other. I'll go around the other side, you can see with the door closed. Now we can go ahead with these panels in place and start work on the structural panels, the sail panels to tie the roof in to the lower body area. We've done all the welding, metal finishing across the centers there. So that's all finished. Up and through there you can see the metal finishing was done. It's working out quite well. We need to wrap up this area and fill that hole in. These jogs in here, they'll probably be cut away so that it's more or less a streamlined panel that goes in. We don't have to deal with too many corners. And well, we can get that back panel on because that's not really going to interfere with us setting up the power window mechanisms. Before we button all this up, we're going to get those mechanisms installed. We have to get that door finished at the bottom. Once we have this bottom done, we can go ahead and fabricate the door structural panel, the main door, that part there. Get that fabricated for the passenger side. It's going to resemble the one over there, but not be as complicated because we don't need all those indentations and everything that held the old mechanisms for the window in place, the regulators. That's what the panel looks like with the door closed. And like I said, it's looking quite nice back there. We got the beads on the floor. We have to seam seal all this stuff later on. And we have to fill in a few gaps there. Seam sealer won't plug that up. These are the hinges, the pivots for the front seat. That's the latch, one of them. And the back, again, that's where the tracks stick out into the exterior of the interior. So we have to create caps, seal those up. We want these seats to remain functional, so you can adjust the bottom, the back, to a certain degree. You won't have the forward and back motion, but everything else will work on the seat. And yeah, it's looking good. So plug that hole up, finish the sail panels. The front is pretty much done. And that dash pad, I got a question for you guys. Do you think we should keep that one last panel original? Just the way it is? Like the interior is going to be black and something. That panel there, do we keep it as an accent piece? I don't know, the condition is so nice, not cracked, not checked. You know, it's primo, almost. It's faded, yeah, because it's old, but it's original to the car, to the soul of the car. So I don't know if we need to reupholster that or if we will keep it as is. This flange has to be trimmed back. That's how much we drop down to get that 2-inch lean rearward at the top, which gave us about 1.25 inch-ish drop to the overall roof. Might seem like a lot of work, but it was well worth that, because otherwise it would have looked funny. By shortening the car and having the roof high, it would have looked weird. We need to tie all this in. So one step at a time. Now when I'm not holding the camera, it opens up first crack. So hope you guys enjoyed this episode. This is a huge leap forward for us to start assembling the rest of the body. If you enjoyed it, let us know in the comments. Hit the like button. Until next time guys, take care. Okay, go! curious to see if we could take it around the block. There we go. 8 inches taken out of the frame. Let's stand back here and take a look. Yeah, she looks pretty short. Really, Nick? Duh. Chop most of the car up. All right, guys, we got the body sections up on the chassis. It actually doesn't look too bad.